In this video we'll show how you can programmatically change the selection in a control bar's button list, and how you can also dynamically change the actual buttons that are shown in the button list. So you can see here we have a simple control bar with the button list, and the button list has three buttons, and let's say we'd like to programmatically set the button 1 to be the active button. So we go to the list of available values here, and I'll discuss why we know that this is going to be B1, B2 and B3. So we'll go there and say B1, and then we'll go here and set the button list to B1. So basically the reason that we've chosen B1 here is that this button list was defined to have an HTML value of button 1 but a stored value of B1. So now let's go and just change the entire contents of the button list. So now we're going to go there, and now you can see we have a totally different button list. And now let's go back to the original button list that we had over there. So go back there and click the button. So now let's go over to the design mode to take a look at this button list. So we can see here that the button list was defined to have basically HTML of just in this case button 1, but then a value of B1. So the second button list item had a value of B2, and this had a value of B3. So that's why when we want to set the active button, we need to set the value to B1. Then also notice that the variable name for the button list was called my button list, and that the value name was called value, and that the settings variable was called data. So if we actually go here and say show JavaScript, we can see that in the button list here we have my button list, which is the root variable, and then value, which comprises all of the selected buttons, is an array. So the reason that value is an array is that a button list can be set to allow multiple selections, and then here is the data for the button list. So now let's go take a look at the actual code on the buttons that is making this the selection. So let's go here, and if we look at this code here, we can see that the first thing that we're doing is getting a pointer to the control bar, and then basically we are going to use the update method, the control bar update method, to update the variable called myButtonList.value, and we're going to basically set that to an array value, an array that has one item in it, and we're going to read the item from the drop down box, and then we call the controlbar.update method. So if the control box has a value of B2 for example, then val will be an array with a single item in it called B2, and the variable that we want to update is myButtonList.value, and this goes ahead and does that. So now let's take a look at the button that changes the structure of the control bar. So we'll go back here to JavaScript, and we see we're calling a function called setButtonlistData. And if we go to the JavaScript function here and we look at setButtonlistData, we can see that what we've done is we've created a new array here which contains an object, well actually an array of objects, and each object has an HTML value and a value. So we're going to basically have two buttons in the button list that say new button 1 and new button 2. Then we get a pointer to the control bar, and then we just update myButtonList.data with the new data. And then to revert to the original button list, this is the data for the original button list, and we just do the same thing again using the original data. So if we go here now and we run this, we can see that the button list changes, and now the button list reverts back to its previous value. So what we've shown over here is how you can programmatically set the selected buttons in a button list, and how you can also programmatically completely change the structure of the button list. Thanks very much for watching.